It's the Reedie Zee Show. Reedie Zee Show. Reedie Zee Show. Reedie Zee Show. It's the Reedie Zee Show. Reedie Zee Show. It's the Reedie Zee Show.
What's up, guys? We are back. Monday Command, Victory Monday. We are here, Reedie Zee, here with our guy, Rio Robinson. Rio, what's up with it?
What's good, man? It's Victory Monday, man. That 1-0 feeling feels nice. Imagine having your favorite team not score a touchdown in the first week of the NFL season. Can't relate.
Nah, for sure. So, yeah, we're here to talk about the key takeaways and recap the game yesterday, the 21-6 victory. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We're going to kick it off right now.
It's the Reedie Zee Show.
Okay. So we're gonna kick it off now. We had some technical difficulties or something. I guess somebody pressed a button that wasn't supposed to be pressed, but we
you was
here.
a little lagging over there. I had to try to help you out.
I didn't need any help. It wasn't no lag.
Blame it on the Giants, bro. They probably hijacked your system, man.
No,
Facts.
Rio, the problem is he needs to learn his role in the show. If you are leading in the show, you don't gotta press no buttons. I can produce. I'm good.
Respect. We had a few seconds, my bad. But yeah, though, guys, we are, like we said, Victory Monday. We all are excited to see some real football. Yesterday, we had the 21-6 victory. Northwest Stadium was going crazy in there. The crowd was wild. We honored 8-9. It was just great being back. But Rio, was you in the building yesterday?
I was not. I was live on YouTube from the crib with my children watching that joint at the crib. Well, y'all tell me what it was like up there, though.
Man, it was crazy. I mean, like you said, they announced that it was the sellout. Pretty much. So we made sure we got out there early for the tailgate. Got out there like 8:30 to make sure we hopped in line to get our spot. The tailgate was lit. Getting into the stadium was, crowded, and it was fun. Luckily, this year we moved down to the 100 level, so we ain't got to worry about that line getting up into the club and walking all to the seats. So we walked right in. So it was definitely exciting. The atmosphere was just crazy. So everybody was hyped, man. It was definitely fun to be back at the crib.
Yeah, it definitely was. And when they initially announced that it was going to be a sellout, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, y'all been saying it was sellouts all these other years, and we look up top and we see nothing but seats, man. When you look up top in the 400 level, that was packed. Like the whole building was packed. All you seen was a sea of burgundy or white. You know what I'm saying? Like very few blue was in the stadium yesterday. So
it had to be about 75-25 us, right? Because it looked like it on TV.
Yeah.
Yes, it definitely was. So roll out the show. I'm gonna hit you with the question we asked ourselves last night. Was this a dominant game for us, or was Rush just bad? Specifically talking about the defense. Like, do you think the defense dominated yesterday?
I think that they did what they needed to do yesterday, man. Like, it's week one, and there's always week one wackies, but I think yesterday showed what the potential of what this defense could be. No, we're not going to be playing senior citizen Russell Wilson every week of the season, but we've seen this. We played Russ last year. We didn't perform like this versus him. I like that our new additions got right to it. I like that Deron Payne looked like the guy the year of his contract pending season. He was all over the place. I like that Javon Kinlaw looked like the person Adam Peters drafted in San Francisco. Will Harris looked like a more complete safety than even Jeremy Chin was for us last year. It's one game. You don't want to make too much of it, especially versus an inferior opponent. Dominant might not be the word for it, but it was a very good way to start the year. We've been through so many losses as fans here. We don't get to overly nitpick the way that we win games.
Nice.
We're 1-0. And that's one victory Monday. Plenty more to go in 2025. But the defense did impress me yesterday.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up Kinlaw, because one of the things I noticed on my rewatch this morning was Kinlaw was all over the place. He was all over in the backfield. He was blowing up, taking on double teams and things of that nature. Like, this defensive line might be a position of strength when we were kind of like a little skeptical. Okay, yeah, they brought in some guys that could maybe stop the run because the run defense was abysmal last year. But they're looking like we might be good all the way across the board.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah, totally agree. And like you said, guys like Goldman, Wise, the guys that not really have the big names, they kind of fly under the radar. To see them kind of step in and step up, and make presence. Game one, it was definitely great to see that. So I was pretty proud of that as well. And then even on the back end, I felt like our defensive backs played well. Amos, he had a nice pass breakup on the sideline, looking like a true lockdown corner. Lattimore, he looked like his old self a little bit, looking a little springy. He moving around fast, doesn't look injured. And then of course with the safeties, like you said, Will Harris was all over the field. I was telling Reedie yesterday, I'm like, man, Will Harris is everywhere. Like that first, I would say, like even just the first quarter, he was just flying over, making almost every tackle. He was just in there and where he needed to be. So definitely excited to see that, because I had a lot of questions around, what Will Harris can bring us, especially after losing such a key guy like Chin. So I was excited to see, like you said, the new guys definitely come in and make name and make a presence day one, game one. And then, short week coming up. So we'll see how that test. Yeah, we'll see how that test works out. But I think it'll be a really good matchup, this Thursday night against the Packers. And then, my second question in reference to, like, with the offense, like, how did you feel about Jaden? It's been talks around. People were saying, yeah, Jaden had like 230 yards or whatnot, but he still, could have been better. It still looked a little sloppy out there. Time management with the coaches, and we just seeing a lot of little things swirling around overnight. But how did you feel about what the offense did overall?
Listen, Jaden Daniels is so good and so elite that even on a day where he's sailing passes, he's throwing stuff to the top section, and he missed Terry in week one, just like he did last year versus Tampa Bay, he still looked better than about 88% of quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, Joe Burrow threw for 118 yards yesterday. Jalen Hurts and Dak combined for like 300 yards on Thursday Night Football, and Bo Nix was spraying the ball to the other team all day yesterday versus the Tennessee Titans. Jaden, on a day where he was off, the offense didn't have the penalties, we were having problems lining up, he still looked like a superstar. He's still the 70 rushing yards. He still gets us out of bad situations with his legs. He's still precise with the football. It's out of his hands quick. He looks like he's in full command of the offense. 300 total yards and a touchdown, 21 points. We didn't have to settle for field goals, just 3 touchdowns. When we got in the red zone, we scored touchdowns. If that's what one of our bad performances is going to look like, imagine when he hits Debo on that deep over, or when Zach Ertz is not dropping third down passes, or when him and Terry, who just got here last week, are timed up again on the go route. I think the timing of the way on the double move, that threw it off. I think Jaden threw it to him as if it was just a go route, but there was a move in there. There was a hitch in his route, and that threw the timing off. Jaden knew better immediately. He never lost his smile the whole game. He's still running past defenders. He's out of harm's way, and even in a B- performance, he looks like one of those guys, man. Lamar Jackson gave up a game on prime time last night. They didn't finish over there. Mahomes got outplayed by Herbert. Burrow threw for 118 yards. Our guy's looking like he's primed and ready to go, and we're going to play up to the competition. So I think we're going to see a better Jaden on Thursday, but he still looked good yesterday.
Yeah, talk a little bit about Z looked over at me probably in the first quarter. He was like, why is Eckler still in the game? Like, where's Bill? So, like, what was your thoughts of Bill? You know, he had the touchdown run and he had the big run. What's your thoughts on Bill?
You know how these guys, come on now, they like the gamesmanship of rookies need to earn it. We're not just going to give it. So remember, they had Marcus Mariota. They was acting like there was a quarterback competition when Jaden came in the building last year. They don't just give guys. It was Andrew Wiley or Connerly all preseason. But we got about 3 possessions in. I was like, all right. I was like, all right, that's a lot of Eckler. We moving like it's 2019 Chargers Eckler right now, like fantasy demon Eckler. But I knew Bill was going to get out there, and once he got out there, they didn't really come back off him, and they just sprinkled in a good mix of them. And he shows you immediately why we traded Brian Robinson Jr. We haven't seen speed, agility, and lateral movement in that running back room in so much time. Even on his small gains, you see it when he's met at the line. Even on the touchdown where it was just like the preseason one where we could have scored if we got to the hole. He had to make a quick, sudden cut to get to the hole for the touchdown. We didn't have that in this room. 82 yards. He ran for more than Genty and Omarion Hampton, who went in the first round, and he only got 10 touches, 8 yards a carry. Meanwhile, B-Rob had 37 yards on 9 carries down to San Francisco. But we don't got to be petty. Bill looked as advertised. We don't need to play these games going forward, though. We can just start him and mix Eckler in as the third down back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel the same way. Definitely, you know what I mean, the first 2 series, and then it end up leading into like 3 series. I'm looking like, Reedie, where's Bill? You know what I mean? Like he mentioned. So, you know, to kind of see him get in there and do what he did. And shout out to Eckler too. You know, I've been this offseason, I was a little hard on Eckler because I knew one of the running backs would go. I figured that, you know, if we move the running back, preferably it would be somebody on the back end. If they wanted to make a splash and move a running back, maybe trade or a surprise release, that it could potentially be Eckler and it end up being B-Rob. Cool, you know what I mean? But overall, I still have respect for Eckler, but Eckler definitely, you know, in his usage stepped up. You know, he got us a key first down. I think that was like a 3rd and long, and he ended up getting that first down. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, he trucked like 6 people.
Yeah.
It was the first down before the Debo score.
Yep.
Yeah. So Eckler definitely, and as well, you know what I mean, just kind of the unseen as well on the offense, John Bates. You know, going back and looking at the tape, his blocking, like Baldy said John Bates might be the best run blocking tight end in the league. You know what I mean? Bates on Debo's run, you know what I mean, he gets around and seals guys off, and on Bill's touchdown, he given the step. I played right tackle, so it kind of took me back where the coaches used to say, man, fake like you're gonna block the guy on the end and go get the linebacker. And he did it like a clean sweep. It was just beautiful. So, like, you know what I mean? I think that, you know, I'm glad that Bates is kind of getting his recognition for that, but he definitely was getting in there and gritty in them trenches.
Yeah, Bates is an integral part of the offense. He matters. He has a real role here, and that's why they took care of that boy for a 3-year deal, and they don't really give out those. So
yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
Yeah, let's talk about the offensive line. What was your thoughts on the offensive line coming out the gate? You know, a lot of the procedural penalties and things of that nature. Like, how did you think Connolly and Tunsil played this first game?
Tunsil is a problem, bro. He is so. Don't it feel good to have one of those again? We were spoiled having Trent Williams here for so long. Like, he's a bouncer. He's out there throwing dudes out of the club. Look at his burst on the Debo Samuel jet sweep touchdown. Him, Bates, and Bill out there blocking and setting. Bro, we are going to have, I feel like some of the sacks Jaden took was because he wasn't accustomed to having this much time as he did in some of those plays. But The offensive line looked as average. That's one of the best fronts, if not the best front we're going to play all year. And while they got some sacks here and there, some of those can be put on the quarterback, the line looked good. Josh Connerly, a little bit of a baptism by fire. He did not look bad by any means yesterday, but he did get cooked a couple times, but that's part of the process. He's 21 years old. You know, he wasn't a top 10 pick, but he's a first round pick. He's going to grow from it. He's going to learn from it. And tackles don't necessarily just come out the box dominant. You know, but the offensive line, even Nick Allegretti, who what some people would consider the weakest link in this specific unit without Cosme, the line looked good. We had holes for our running backs to run through, and Jaden had time to run the offense. And even on the moments where Jaden had to get up out of there, we never really put our quarterback in harm's way yesterday.
Yeah, I thought that as well. Even when he did get up out of there and get to the right, where they kept saying that on the broadcast, he's trying to get to his right because he can see the whole field. He could throw or he can run. But when he did get out of there, it was sealed on the right side. It wasn't necessarily like a free runner like how it was last year, where Wiley was kind of getting beat and then he would get out of there, get a guy to move and get to the sideline. It was just he was just running on his own to get out. You know what I mean? So I thought that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, I mean, while we talk about this offense, we can't not talk about the new acquisition, that shiny present, that shiny box that we got now in Debo. Everybody talking about he was wise, he's fat, and all that. He got a lot to prove, contract year. Debo Samuels made a huge impact and an immediate impact. You know what I mean? How do you feel about his involvement in the offense? Because I told Reedie last week, I was like, man, we're gonna see Debo running a lot of motions. He's gonna get handoffs, he's gonna get passes, he's gonna get him in the backfield. And Reedie was like, nah, they ain't not gonna show all of that, see. And you know what I mean, we saw a lot of that yesterday. So kind of talk about Debo's impact.
Man, Debo looked good, man. Debo looked good, bro. Like, and it goes to show you why they had him running a full route tree. I'm telling you, the blessing in disguise, while some of the Terry Tomlin wasn't there in week one, the blessing in disguise of Terry being out all summer is him and Jaden being able to put together that rapport all summer. And they're not just using him on gadgety. They're not just using him on jet sweeps and stuff. He's running routes, bro. Yeah. And we left a couple plays on the field. Like one, Jaden put it a little bit too high. The other one, I feel like Debo could have actually caught. He could have held on to it. But we're talking about 100-yard day for him. And we still had, 98 yards total between rushing and receiving. I'm excited to see. I think we're about to have a prime Debo Samuel season here. And Jaden loves him. You can already tell. 7 catches in his first game. They're about to use that boy early and often. I hated the third down call where they motioned him and threw the swing pass to the flats. And I think if we were playing a better football team, we go for it on the 4th and 2 there. I think a lot of people were concerned with our lack of aggression on 4th down yesterday. It was not required versus the New York Giants. I think we get back to who we are more versus Thursday versus a much better Green Bay Packers team. But Debo came out the gate smoking, man. Tuck your chains in.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. So then, that's what I was gonna say. Nothing else on the offensive side. I was just gonna kind of move into, you know what I mean, what you think, since it's a short week, we can kind of start talking about Green Bay early. Like, what you think some keys to this? I mean, you got Josh Jacobs, who's a beast. Jordan Love is no slouch. They got speed in that wide receiver room. And their defense, their defense showed up yesterday and looked pretty good. Of course, we got Micah Parsons, we get him early so we get him out the way. But, a trip to Lambeau on a Thursday night. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. First of all, this is a short week, so it's crazy. Like, you can't even really bask too hard in Victory Monday because they got to get back out there and prepare. Well, like Quinn said yesterday, Wednesday is today. The day they usually start the week is Wednesday. They got to get right to it because we're going to Lambeau Field. But I'm excited for this one. I think we can win this game, and this is a pretty good team. I'm going to let y'all dive a little bit deeper into that. I got to step away for like 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Bet.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Reedie, what you thinking? As far as that, some key takeaways.
Key takeaways are going up against Green Bay, or key takeaways from this previous
game? Going up to Green Bay.
I just think we have to come in. We have to be ready. Coming off a short week, we got to be ready to play. Josh Connerly Jr., he has to grow up fast. Parsons, he looked all of the part this past Sunday, um, you know, in their game. So yeah, it is what it is. They got a nice defense up there. The offense is look pretty good yesterday as well. So we gonna have our hands full for us. That would be my takeaway. But from it is just being able to block Parsons because they're gonna put him all over the field, and use him in all of these different ways. He's motivated because he got paid. So that's it for me. It's just maintain against Parsons.
Yeah, and this comment here is definitely something to kind of speak on too. Well, as you mentioned with Parsons, if he lines up against Connolly, definitely try to have Bates, chip and assist. You know what I mean? And I think one thing I did realize is that I think Dan Quinn will know how to neutralize Parsons just to slow him down. You're not gonna stop him, but you could definitely slow the bleeding a little bit. I feel like in a situation where he knows his strengths, he coached them and things of that nature. So that pretty much would be the obvious. But we just need to establish the run and just play our ball. I don't feel it or want us to kind of rush things or get in here and think we need to be of a certain way. I think the team and the coaches are going to have the guys ready to some sort. Dan Quinn mentioned earlier today that they practice, they're prepared for situations of this kind with short weeks and things of that nature. So I'm not too worried. I know it's going to be a fight. I think early on when we made schedule record predictions early in the off season, this is one of the games I had as being a tough one, and I kind of circled it as a possible loss. Going in because I was saying it will be a short week coming off a divisional game. But I do feel like we do have a chance, and I feel like we can still come out in victory. But it's definitely one of those games that I had my eye on.
Yeah, I definitely think we got a chance. The resurgence of the running game, we got a little bit more speed out of the backfield with Bill Eckler on third downs. We didn't even really scratch the surface and show really too much what this offense can do. And Terry's really working his way back. Really didn't hit the tight ends all like that. Ertz had maybe 2 or 3 catches. So I just feel like and Jaden, you got to be honest with Jaden because he has that ability to tuck it and run. We've seen a couple, quarterback, he audible to quarterback runs and stuff of that nature. So they'll have their hands full. I think defensively, like if this defensive line comes out and they are dominant the way they were dominant and reestablishing a line of scrimmage in the backfield like they did against the New York Giants, I feel like we got a chance against Jordan Love and them guys over there. Also, and then the back end just looks really good. Lattimore looked good. The emergence of Will Harris, that was a somebody that we didn't necessarily think was going to be a big part of this defense, given where we came from last year with us losing Jeremy. But Will Harris was all over the field yesterday, like we said earlier on the show, like hitting everything that moved. And I'm just like, God, on a rewatch, it's watching it live is one thing, but on the rewatch, I'm like, damn, like I didn't realize that he played this way. He got knocked out. Then you bring in a Jeremy Reeves. Jeremy Reeves coming in there causing fumbles and lighting people up, and it didn't miss a beat. Then he comes back in and does it all over again. So it's just like this back end is really good. Amos looks the part. Quan looks the part. Everybody's looking the part in this defensive line. And then not even to mention Jordan McGee, I see him in on a few plays on defense at linebacker. And then, Louisville didn't even really flash on like that yesterday. So there's another element of this defense that I think that we'll bring out this Thursday on a short week going up to Green Bay. So I'm not necessarily really worried about Green Bay. I just feel like if we play our game, I think we'll be fine because, they have to be able to stop us just as well as we have to be able to stop them. If we can block Micah Parsons and Gary and, I'm not really worried about the rest of their team for real.
Yeah, and definitely, like I was saying earlier with Josh Jacobs, you make sure you want to, contain him to an extent. So this will definitely be a good test for that run defense. We talked about how these acquisitions were brought in to stop the run. So they'll get a good test up against Jacobs. And I also think those guys still, even yesterday, was able to apply pressure to Russ. So, we definitely got to make sure that we pressure Jordan Love and make him uncomfortable in the pocket. And I think, as long as our DBs, do their thing, I think just as a whole, the defense will work. Like they always say, if your corners are covering, it helps the D line out. And when the D line is getting pressure, it's going to help the back end of the defense out as well. So I think we'll be good there. But definitely excited to see a great matchup. And one other thing I would mention, I just want us to clean up the penalties. It's, it was week 1, so it's not nothing to really hound down about, but also just, make sure that we get that attention to detail, situational things, so we're not killing ourselves in key moments. Yeah, but we got Rio back. But yeah, Rio, we was just talking about, keys or some insight that we feeling on how we can be, in this matchup upcoming.
Yeah, the Lions didn't necessarily do too much. I mean, like they didn't require Jordan Love to even have a dominant game, nor Josh Jacobs. Their defense did half the battle there, man. Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons and company got after Jared Goff. Are we seeing a potential hangover from losing Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn? Are they going to be exposed in 2025? But Jordan Love only had to throw for 188 yards. He had a couple touchdowns. He was effective, and he didn't have to do much. Honestly, we just need to play our game offensively. We don't really need to change anything, but we need to clean up the discipline. Like, we can't be having stupid penalties. Like 89 penalty yards, that's not going to cut it versus a playoff contending team and a well-coached team like the Green Bay Packers on the road in a primetime situation. We cut the penalties out. Jaden's not going to have any of those routine misses that we saw in week 1. And I know he's killing himself over a couple of those throws. I love how Zach Ertz and Jaden and company go straight into, that's not the standard. Like 21 points, that's beneath us. Like, we've come so far that we looking at 21 points like,
yeah, facts. Yeah, his first words in that press conference was sloppy. They asked him how he felt about his game instead of talking about the win or this and that, or he just straight to it. We played sloppy and we want to clean it up. So like you said, the standard is definitely high. And it's definitely, being a fan of this team, all of this is just, it's like new again. It's like we're born again, and it's exciting to kind of realize, like, damn, this is my team. Like the LeBron moment. I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe this is my team. You know what I mean?
I know, man. Every time.
Yeah, facts.
I mean, and then, a lot of the noise right now is like how we match up against, the Packers defense with Micah Parsons and Gary and what they're going to do to us. But how do you think defensively we match up against the Packers and Jordan Love and company? Because like I was impressed with a Will Harris yesterday, all over the field making plays. Yes. I was impressed with a Jeremy Reeves that came in when Will Harris got hurt. I was impressed with Kinlaw. I was impressed with Dietrich Wise. I was impressed with this defensive line. Payne looks like, he found the fountain of youth. I mean, it's another contract year, so that's another conversation. But, defensively, like, we didn't even really see much of Louisville yesterday. Jordan McGee got in there for a little bit. You bring or Von Miller. We didn't really see much of that as far as a pass rush. So how do you think we stack up against this Packers offense?
Well, first things first, I need us to focus on stopping the run, because Josh Jacobs is a different breed than Tyrone Tracy. Tyrone Tracy is a solid running back in this league. Don't get me wrong. Josh Jacobs is one of those. So if we could keep Josh Jacobs to a day where he had 66 yards like yesterday, that would be a good start. And they have one of those weird wide receiver rooms where every guy on their team would be an elite number 2 on someone's team, but not necessarily a number 1. But it works for them, especially in the regular season. Jordan Love's a good quarterback, and he's very mobile. We gotta give him happy feet. We gotta make him uncomfortable. The biggest thing yesterday, we were getting pressure from the middle consistently with Javon Kinlaw and Payne. That was a problem for the Giants offense. If we can get that while adding some of the edge pressure on top, because Dietrich Wise and Dorrance, they was looking good. We haven't even seen the Von Miller impact yet. Play a lot of the game like you played Sunday, but just understand that there's very drastically different competition on that field Thursday. But I like our chances. We should not be afraid of anyone. We should not be afraid of any building. And I like how we match up versus the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we close out, one last thing, because this was a key topic as well. How you feeling about Deebo being at kick returner? I'm still a little
No.
little bracing myself with that. I don't necessarily like it. I know he's a weapon, but it's like, I don't know. He's too valuable in my opinion.
Yeah, they need to put Luke back there with Noah Igbenogany. After what I seen, how they want to use that guy, Debo, in this offense. I don't need to see Debo catching up. Hey, boy, let Lucas McCaffrey go ahead and have fun with that, man.
Nah, facts. Facts. And then they ended up putting him back. He had a good run too.
He got us about the 41 on one possession.
Yeah.
Look at Luke actually contributing.
That's facts. Reedie's on wax, giving Luke a hard time. So when he made the squad, man, Reedie was like, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna leave him alone.
He's here because of family connections and because they used their one annual we cutting someone we drafted on Dominique Hampton. So
yeah,
shout out Luke.
Facts.
Yeah, they said Luke only had like 6 offensive plays yesterday. So
that's how I like it, man.
Keep him on them teams. That's it.
Yeah, I mean we stuck with him for sure because Bourne went back to San Francisco. So
yep, sure did.
Yeah,
I know Adam Peters offered him some pennies, bro. I know he's shortchanged. Hey, come get this minimum wage and come join Death Row, man.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's
man. That's probably what he had to think about. And I want to take this light contract or what? I mean, I don't think he got nothing crazy with San Francisco either, but
up to $5 million. That ain't nothing.
Yeah, and the tax out there is a lot more than DC, so definitely different. But yeah, though, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, follow us at Reedie Zee at Rio Robinson. Make sure you tap in with both channels. Salute to you, Rio, for hopping on with us. We definitely appreciate you, brother. Yeah, more collabs coming soon.
Sir.
And stay tuned for what's to come. I'm sure we're gonna have some more shows coming up as we lead into Green Bay and moving forward. So make sure y'all tap in with both of us. But if Reedie doesn't have anything else, you can close us out. All right, we're out.
Yes, sir. More Victory Mondays to come, baby.
Yes.
Hopefully it's Victory Friday this
Friday.
Yeah, 2 in 1 week, man. Whew.
Yeah.
10 days off. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Reedie Zee Show. It's the Reedie Zee Show.
Breaking 10 season.